Hi folks, how's things? So as we move to an online learning platform or an online learning environment, I'm going to start creating some videos and put them up on Moodle for to complete assignment 4, the coffee grinder. Don't forget assignment 4 is the last assignment, so people should have got 45% of the total marks submitted already by submitting assignment 1, 2 and 3, which are all worth 15 marks. Assignment 4 counts for 15 marks and the rest of them are made up by a project. Now, I know that it's not an ideal position we're in, but we are where we are. So, I suppose without further ado, I've made a video on making part 1 of the coffee grinder, which is called the base. Now we're going to move on to the coffee hopper, which is part 2. So we just do a bit of a close-in look of what that looks like. It's made up of a number of different shapes. The first shape is a funnel shape. So the funnel shape is, where's the 3D? Sorry. The funnel shape looks something like this. So it's a funnel with a bottom on it, and then there are 2 projecting sides. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a sketch in the front plane. We're going to draw half the profile, we're going to draw a center line through the origin. We're going to draw half the profile of the funnel. We're going to create a revolve feature, and then on the front plane again we're going to create the sketch, which will extrude the 2 side pieces out, these 2 side pieces down at the bottom. Okay, am I showing my cursor? I am. So these 2 side pieces down the bottom, and then we can put in the holes and cut out these shapes over here and so on. Okay, so that's basically what we're going to do. So without further ado, let's jump into SolidWorks. Let's create, I've opened a new part there, but it will be File, New, Part, OK. And then go to front plane, left click on front plane, click on Sketch. Now the first thing, as I said, I want to do is draw a center line. Okay. And then I am going to start by drawing my sloped line. So go to line command, draw a line down, something like this. Back. Try not to take up the automatic relation there, come in a little bit for it. I don't know whether it's actually aligned or not, but we'll just draw the rough profile, something like this. Try and draw a line parallel to it. It goes up to the horizontal like that. And that's something similar to the profile we have. So remember, when you draw half, or drawing this, so this line here, over, down, up, and then back at the angle. Now, I suppose the one thing is we can do is we can add our relations first. So I can hold in the control button of my keyboard. I can click the first line, keeping the control button, press down, I can click my second line, and then I can click on parallel from add relations. That'll maintain that they are parallel at all times. Okay. The next thing I do is I can start adding my dimensions, the smallest dimension first. So we can see that we have the distance from this point to the center line is 27 millimeters. So 27 millimeters because half of 54 is 27. Okay. Then we have the distance from the outer extremity to the center line is 30. Then we have the distance from the inside point to the center line is 47. And then the outside point to the center line is 50. So it's starting to come together now. Something like that. It's still blue because it's looking for a total height. The distance from the top to the bottom is 70, 20, 20, and 30, 70. So that's from there to there is 70. Distance from the top to the center is 40. Okay. And then we are missing a couple of different distances. So the distance from there to there is 24. See that here, 24. And then we're just missing the distance. What are we missing? Why is it blue up here? It's blue because it doesn't know the angle of this, is it? Let's just check. So get a smart dimension, click on one of the blue points and move it around, and we'll start to see where it needs dimensions. So it needs a distance from there to there to fully settle. Do we know that dimension? 40. You know that the distance from so the bottom of this circle here is 20, where are we? 54, so the inside of that is 54, 60, just having a hard time seeing it myself. I think it's 54 also. So just smart dimension that from there to there. I think it's smart dimension again. Type in 27 as well. That should then turn black. That's awesome. Okay, so the next thing I need to do now is I go to the feature tab and I go to revolve boss base, and it automatically finds the center line as being the axis of revolution. Again, if you were to deselect that and select that as the axis of revolution, you'd have a completely different part. If you just select that as the axis of revolution, it's not possible. If you just select that as the axis of revolution, you'd have a completely different part as well. What we're looking for is where we drew the center line, so that's the axis of revolution there. So that's the hopper bit. So we accept that. That's that first shape done for us. So the next one then is we need to go into in here, and we need to basically draw out this profile, so the thickness of this profile on the front plane. So to do that, we will we'll go to the front plane, left click on front plane, click on sketch, go Control and 8 at the keyboard, and that'll bring up the normal to view or the 90-degree view. So then we are going to click on line. We're going to click up this point, find that point, bring it down somewhat, bring a line straight across, bring a line straight down, and bring a line straight across again. What does that look like? Yep, it's not bad. So we're drawing this profile. It'll look like this profile here. So the next thing we need to do is we need to dimension it. So smart dimension, click on the line, the top line, and this line here. We're told that that's 20. Where am I finding that from? Here's the 20 here from the top down. Okay, thickness of the piece itself is 20 itself. So thickness of the line will be 20. It's kind of matching up there for me. You can see that they're starting to, it's going to join that point, not below it. But there's no harm putting it below it in the first place. And then it's 90 from the center line over to this hole, but that's not the end of the piece. The end of the piece is 11 millimeters beyond that hole, so 90 plus 11 is 100 and 101. So if we go back to SolidWorks, the smart dimension distance from there to the origin would be 101, and then yeah, we're pretty happy with that. The last bit we have to put in is the position of this point here. You can see there it's still blue. So just looking at the drawing, we can see that point there comes down here, and it's 28 millimeters away from the center line of this hole, and that hole is 11 millimeters. That center line is 11 millimeters from the edge. So 11 plus 28 is 39. So that is 39 from the edge into the point. So if you just go back to SolidWorks, smart dimension from edge out, we said 39. Now it's fully black and fully defined. You can see it's fully defined down here in the bottom right. Okay, so now we have a bit of a problem. We have a problem because if we go to extrude this out, it's an open profile. We also have a problem because if I put a line between here and here, the surface is curving away, so it's going to leave it coming straight out, but the surface curving away. So we're going to have to extend that out into this cavity somehow, okay? And while it's not the best way to do it, it's probably the easiest to do from home without me explaining what it is. The other way of doing this would have been to set up a plane over here on the right plane. So this is on the front plane, so the right plane is 90 degrees to this, so it's looking at that, and extrude that back up to the surface, and then add this bit here. It takes 2 steps. This will take 2 steps as well, because if we extend this back, we then have to cut out this internal section here. Okay, so look, we'll do it the way. Both of them are hard to do. Both not hard to do. Both of them don't make much sense in terms of design, but both of them have to be done. So we're just gonna come back in a set amount like that. It doesn't matter if it ends up being blue. Okay, so now we've got a closed circuit like so, and I'm just going to go up and draw a center line down to the middle, and I'm going to mirror what's on the left onto the right. So I'm going to go to sketch, mirror entities. I'm going to just hold down my left mouse button, that'll give me a window, and I'm going to just select all the geometry that I drew there on the left hand side. I'm going to click into mirror about to select the line of symmetry, clicking on the center line after drawing. You can see the partial preview there in yellow, which is going to mirror the exact same thing on the right hand side. And I just simply click on OK, click on the green tick. Okay, and then the last thing I can do is go to features, select features from the tab, go up to extruded boss base, and I'm going to set the end condition instead of being blind. Okay, I'll just show you. So blind is just going one direction out. I want to have it split across the plane, so either side of the plane. And let's look at what the size is. It is diameter 16. So diameter 16 would mean that it's 16 in total. Sorry, over here, radius 20, radius 11. So it's a radius 11, 16 is the whole. Radius 11 is that, so that means that it is 22 millimeters in total. So 11 each side of the plane. So I'm going to go back to my SolidWorks, type in 22, mid plane. So now it's going both sides of the plane, and I'm accepting that. Boom, happy enough with that. Okay, as you can see there, I still have to cut this bit out in the middle because I'm after putting that bit in. Okay, so probably the easiest thing to do would be to finish off doing this part, and then we'll go back and solve that other problem in a second. Okay, so we're going to just come over here and we are going to fillet this by 11 millimeters. Okay, so go to features, select fillet, type in the distance as being 11, select the first edge, make sure there's a full preview showing, select the second edge, select the third edge, hold in the middle mouse button, rotate it around, and select the fourth edge. So now we have our rounded elements. Next thing to do then would be to create a sketch on that surface. So left click on the surface, click on sketch in the pop-up toolbar, control and 8, and that'll bring us into an normal 2 view. Set up some geometry, go to the center line, draw a center line going through the whole way through the piece. That'll help me line up my circles. Select another center line, go from the top of the quadrant, which is where the circle ends, the semicircle ends, to the bottom of the quadrant. And I'm going to do the same on the far side. I could mirror it, but I'll just do it this way, it might be easier. And now I can go about adding this circle here. The circle is this hole. This hole is diameter 16. So just come back down here, go to circle, line it up, go over here, the same, draw another circle, line it up. Go to smart dimension, click on the diameter of the circle, type in 16, click on the green tick. Over here, the same, diameter 16, click on the green tick. Okay, now go to my features tab, we're going to do an extruded cut, and we're going to cut down through So set the end condition to true all. So it's going to go through the whole lot. So we're getting there slowly but surely. You'll also see there's a hole here in the elevation. So there's a hole going through both sides. The hole is on the center line and it is up 10, so it's in the middle of everything here. So next thing to do would be to go back to my front plane, go to sketch, control and 8 on my keyboard, select normal 2, and this line here is pretty much my center line. So I can just simply select my circle, bring it down and scroll down until I get to the midpoint. So the wee yellow dot that pops up in the middle is the midpoint. Draw a circle, same here, down and draw another circle. Okay, so the last thing we have to do is we have to put a smart dimension on these two circles. And if we look at our drawing, you'll see that there's 6, both of them. And then we select features, extruded cut, and we will be doing a mid-plane cut, so we can do it through both sides. And we'll just extend it a little bit past 22, and we accept that. So it doesn't have to be 22, it could be 23, 24. I just added 10 by clicking up this arrow here. We accept that. Okay, so we're getting through it. We've got 2 more steps as I can see it. The next step would be to cut out this section again. Okay, and there should be an easy enough way of doing that. So if we go back to the part, if we go to the right plane, which is not affected, you can see there's no geometry there, nothing jumping out there. If we had selected the front plane, you'll see that this here is affected. So we go to the right plane, create a sketch in the right plane, control 8. That will show us 90 degrees to it. Then we go to view display style and go down and select wireframe hidden lines visible. And we can see the profile there of our shape. So what we can do is we can just simply click on the line, go to the sketch tab and go over here to a thing called convert entities. Here it is here. And basically what that does is it allows you to trace any existing line, edge or shape onto a new sketch. So that line was there already, so I've just traced it. So then I'm just going to finish that off by selecting the line command, drawing a line from the end point of the converted entity. Sorry, I'm after going back to an arc there. From the end of the converted entity back over to the origin, up to the top, and the whole way over to the left hand side. That's it, they're complete. Now I can go to features and select revolved cut, and we'll select the line as being the line of symmetry here, and it should basically revolve that the whole way around, cutting out the bit that we don't want. So if I just go back to display style and go to shaded with edges, you'll see that it's now just cut everything out. Okay, so that is that step. The last step is to cut the kind of grid section in here in the top. So you can see that that's profile there. So we have what we know about it. We know that there's a center line, and then there's a line which is 8 millimeters thick, so 4 millimeters each side of the center line. We know that we have a circle on the outside of it, and that circle is diameter 20. There we are, 20. And we know that there's a hole in the middle of it, and we know that that size of that hole is, just looking for it now, it doesn't appear that there's a dimension on it, but that's okay. So it probably is, it's actually 8 because I can see that line coming straight down there, showing that it's in line with it. So it's 8. Okay, so we have a center line, a line either side of that, which is 4 millimeters side of that. We have a circle which is diameter 20, and we have a circle which is diameter 8. Okay, so we need to click a sketch on that surface, click on the surface, select sketch, select normal 2, control and 8 on the keyboard. Go to geometry, sketch geometry, and click on center line and draw a center line going through the whole thing. Okay, and the same on the far side, center line, go through the whole thing. Okay, so Probably the easiest way to do this is to go to offset entities, so sketch and offset entities. Type in the dimension as being 8 and click on bidirectional. That means it'll be both sides of the line. So click on this line and then click on this line. Yeah, I'll change that to 4 because it means for that one it's 4 of each side of it. So 4 plus 4 is 8. So that was a mistake on my part. Okay, click on the green tick, and now we have that. We go to circle and we draw our first line, which will be our circle, which is diameter 20, which is radius 10. So diameter, the first one comes up, so it's 20. To get the green tick, and then we go to trim, and we select power trim. And as I said before in class, if we just hold down our left mouse button, you can see that where I draw, there's a little grey line appears. As I call it, that's the little grey line of death. So anything that touches that line will delete itself. Okay, so let's go in here, and I'm trying to delete all the stuff in the middle here. So all this stuff. Try and keep the center lines because they're the reference for the rest of the lines. Okay, so try and keep the center lines as best you can. So that's it there. Okay, now we need to go in and hock out the bits in the middle of the circles. So like this. So we're getting there slowly but surely. Okay. Okay, so that is that. Now, we have an issue here because we have, if you look here, this line came to this point and we offset the line so it extends past the curve because the curve is curving down. So what we need to do is we need to basically take this circle, just click on the circle and click on convert entities. Instead of having to draw the circle, it just traces that edge the whole way around. And what we can do then is we can go to trim. We can go up here and trim that little bit off and then trim that bit of the circle away. Trim that bit of the circle away and trim the wee bit off the top. Now, my goal is to have 4 of these shapes fully trimmed. If it's not working for you, it's not trimmed properly. That's the only bit of advice I can give you. So you need to make sure that you're trimming all the right bits. So I'm just using the middle mouse button to scroll in, scroll out, zoom in, zoom out to get all the right parts. So there we have all the bits trimmed. Okay, so now we've got 4 individual quadrants. So I can just go now and accept trim, and I go up to the circle command, and I come down to the origin, I draw a circle, and we're going to make that 8. Click on the green tick, and then we can see that the area of the internal of the area that we're going to cut is all blue. So blue, 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 blue. There's 5 bits there that's going to be cut. The rest is going to be maintained. Okay, so I'm going to go to features, select extruded cut, and we're basically, sorry, they're all selected and I deselected. Basically it should automatically pick it up, but if it doesn't, just click on the inside of the circle and you can see there it appears. So I can select which one I want to cut. I can click on the inside, click on the outside, and so on. But they should all, well, my advice to you would be to try it. Come over here and select through all, and then click on the green tick. And that will basically cut the whole way through. It didn't cut the center circle. Let's just have a look at why. Okay, don't know why it didn't cut that. We'll just right click and edit feature, maybe deselect when I was playing around with stuff. Yeah, so click on the inside of the circle, it'll turn itself yellow, and then it knows that that's part of the selected contour. So we've got, you should have 1, 2, 3, 4 selected contours now. So there you go. And that is that. So that, let's have a look at it. That is that part. Let's go and see what it looks like over here. So that's the shape of it there. And it looks fairly like what it should do. Okay, so that's a complex part. There's a lot of making in that part. But try your best. Again, go to File, Save As, we'll call it Assignment 4, Part 2. Okay, click on Save. And then we'll be happy enough to then start assembling it. But as I say, that's a complex part. It's not the easiest one in the world, but just try your best to work your way through the different steps. Just to recap on the steps, we revolve the main shape, we add the wings, we fillet the rounds at the end of the wings, we put the hole through the top of the wings, the big one, put the hole through the side of the wings to hold the screws, we do a revolve of the inside of the tank to clear it again, and then we cut the extrude through the center. Okay, so again, if obviously for full marks you'd be expecting to get all that done. If you didn't get all that done, obviously you're not going to get full marks, but you'll still be able to build the thing if you got up as far as say there. Okay, up as far as there. The last one is a bit more complex. There's a bit of tracing in it, there's a bit of converting entities in it, and even if you were to draw something that would resemble this but not be exactly it, you'll still get some marks for attempting it. So just what my advice to you would be, try your best. Okay, so that's pretty much that. Okay guys.